Coming up, I'm going to teach you how to actually command respect. And then we're going to review the 10 worst paying college majors. And we'll even go further and look at mid-career majors and what they pay. Let's go. Helping you win at work and in life so you make more money and experience more meaning. This is the Ken Coleman Show. All right. How to command respect and why commanding respect is so valuable to you in your professional growth. Now, let's just lay out how earning respect gets twisted and it becomes very manipulative. Notice I said command respect, and for some of you, maybe that felt a little strong-armed, but it's not. What you're thinking of is demanding respect. And many of you have never seen an authority figure, maybe outside of your parents, actually command respect. What you've experienced is someone demanding respect. Those are two different postures. Most people demand respect. I deserve this. That posture, that statement is the spirit of demanding something. I demand respect. I deserve this. Well, every human being, yes, deserves to be treated with dignity. Okay? So on a human level, yes, every human deserves to be treated with dignity. However, in a professional capacity, there's a difference between dignity and then earning respect on the job, earning respect from people that you lead. And that's where we're going to dive in. We're going to have a very clear look at what we're talking about here. So we've established the baseline. For quick review, most people demand respect. They don't command it. I'll tell you the difference. And there's a difference for what we're talking about of commanding professional respect and then just being treated with human dignity, okay? So here we go. Respect is made up of two ingredients, if you will. The first is excellence. The second is honor. If I respect someone, I respect them because they are exhibiting excellence in their life, in their work. They live an excellent life. They do excellent work. And they are proving that with results. Excellence is what they produce. And so you respect the fact that they do excellent work. But honor is how they do excellent work. So they are treating people with dignity. They exhibit humility. They act with integrity. That is honor. An honorable person acts with humility, integrity, and treats people with dignity. So those two elements together, acting excellent, creating excellence, but doing it in a way where you honor others, you are an honorable person. Those are the two elements that command respect. Excellence and honor. So that's the formula. So what happens when you exhibit excellence and honor? People now respect you because they admire you. They admire the excellence. They admire how you treat people, the honor. So now they respect you. They will follow you. They will reward you. And thus, respect begins to build. And the payoff is influence. That's why we want to be respected, because as I've asserted on this show 100,000 times, and I'll continue to assert it, every human longs to make a difference in the world. We just want to make our mark, is how Alex and I talk about it in our content meetings. People want to make their mark. And so that's why we crave respect, because we inherently know that when we are respected, someone has now given us the opportunity to make a difference. So it is respect that fuels or unlocks, if you will, opportunities for influence. How many of you know that you can't truly influence somebody if you don't have their respect? I mean, I got 3 teenagers. I'm reminded of this in my house every day. If my kid is acting in a disrespectful way, I can tell you my ability to influence them is impossible. I can manipulate them. Hello? Anybody? Anybody else paying attention? I can manipulate my kids despite their attitude, but I cannot influence them when they are being disrespectful. All right, this is just human behavior 101. All right, now that's how we command respect. We act with excellence, we produce excellence, and we honor people. Now, here's where most people get the whole respect thing wrong. They demand it. That's different than commanding. See, a commander, using the military term, is his troops follow him or her into battle. Why? Respect. If they don't respect that commander, they will desert the commander on the battlefield. But anytime you talk about people willingly following a commander into battle and risking their life, that is about respect and respect only. Well, a lot of leaders demand it. Your bad leaders, your bad parents demand. What does demand look like? Well, it's excellence, but with dishonor. Commanding is excellence plus honor. Demanding respect is excellence with dishonor. You've gotten to a position of authority and outward respect because you have produced excellence. But you're dishonorable in how you got to excellence, or you're dishonorable while being excellent, and then ultimately people don't respect you. So let me give you two Hollywood actors to kind of illustrate this. Now that I've unpacked this. First, let's go with Tom Hanks. There he is, America's favorite actor, right? Look at that guy. Everybody likes Tom. And Tom has universal respect. Why? Because he represents the formula. He's one of the greatest actors of his generation. But everything you read and everything you hear about Tom Hanks from people who know him and work with him is that he's one of the most likable guys in the world. He's honorable. All right? So that's his reputation. I can already see somebody coming in the comments because everybody wants to disagree. They go, oh, well, what about when he did this? Here's what I'm telling you. Tom Hanks' universal reputation is that he's excellent at his craft and that he's a nice person. And so Tom Hanks is one of the most respected actors in the world. Now, let's give you the converse. Let's throw up Alec Baldwin's. Look at that guy. God bless him. What's going on with Alec? Well, he's an excellent actor, but he's dishonorable. Started with the voicemail where he called his daughter a pig, or he beats up paparazzi. He tries to demand respect, and he hasn't gotten it. Tom Hanks commands it because he's excellent and honorable.
Do you know what you were born to do? In order to get hired at a job you love, you need to get clear on your talent, passion, and mission. That's why our team created the Career Clarity Guide. In just a few minutes, this free tool will walk you through a process to discover what you do best, that's your talent, the work you love to do, that's your passion, and the results that matter to you, your mission. Then you'll feel more confident throughout the job search process. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/clarity.
Helping you get unstuck so that you can become unstoppable. I'm Ken. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Thank you so much for being a part of this growing audience. If you're watching on YouTube, would you please subscribe to our channel and then share a clip or a show? You're the greatest marketing strategy on the planet, and you've chosen to watch, and I'm grateful for that. Help us spread the word to somebody that you believe could use the message. And then if you're listening via podcast, give us a follow. That's the new thing. Follow us and give us a 5-star review, please. And then share an episode with a friend or family member that you think will be encouraged by it. Thank you so very much. Okay, in my hands, I've got a CNBC article, and we're going to cover the 10 worst paying college majors 5 years after graduation, and then the 10 worst college majors as it relates to mid-career. So we're just going to kind of follow this progression. And boy, this is going to just give me more evidence, Alex, and I'm going to refrain from saying I told you so. By just saying that, I'm going to refrain from saying it. Okay. College majors that pay the least right after college. And so these are the top 10, okay? And this is from the New York Federal Reserve, did this analysis by analyzing median salaries 5 years after graduation. So here we go. Number one on the least pay is theology and religion. Now, this would be an example, several of these, you see the list there, where just a 4-year degree is going to stick you in this pay scale. But a lot of these, unfortunately, the way the system is rigged, and I do mean rigged, you got to have a graduate degree to go along with this. So, for instance, if you just come out with a theology and religion degree, then you're going to take that a couple of places. Maybe you teach at a faith-based, high school. Maybe you are entry-level ministry. Alex, I'm curious, because you came from the church world. If you get a theology and religion degree, and that's all you get, and that's why the salary is $36,000, is that an entry-level pastoral staff role?
I would say like maybe seminary, something like that. But yeah, I don't know if you really need to have like the 4-year.
Right. But my point is you'd have to go get the seminary to get more than 36 probably on a church staff, right?
Yeah, probably.
So that's what we're talking about. So to me, it feels rigged, right? Even in the church world. And I love what you were saying, Alex. You're like, at the end of the day, you can perform the role. You can perform the role whether you have the degree or not. Is that true in the church world, or is the church world holding steady?
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of church planners, so they have their own
okay, good
thing.
All right, next is social services at $37,000. That's number 2 on the worst paid degrees 5 years after college. And again, social services is another example here. You get the social services degree, and you're going to work in a governmental job, maybe a nonprofit. Those two are the first two that pop to mind. And again, these are entry level, and there's just not a whole lot of revenue to support these things. So it kind of forces you to go to the next level with a graduate degree. Family and consumer sciences, $37,000, same bucket. Psychology, $37,400. Again, you get the psychology degree just to get the ticket to go to grad school to become the counselor and a licensed counselor. So this is one of those degrees like engineering and science where you've got to have the degree to play ball. And I've said before, when society dictates that a degree is the only way or the best way, you got to play. Those are the rules of the game, and I don't have to like it, and I don't, but that's the way it's played. Next, leisure and hospitality, $38,000. So here's my point. Why in the world would you go get a degree for leisure and hospitality? I'd rather you skip the 4 years and the student loans. And quite frankly, if you can pay cash for a leisure and hospitality degree, I wouldn't do it. You know what I'd tell you to do? Go start working in room service. Go start waiting tables and in part-time manager your way up the ladder. That's what I did in college. Alex, I was a manager of a restaurant at the Hilton in Norfolk, Virginia. 4 nights a week. And the other 2 nights a week, this is during the summer, I did room service. I was learning a lot about the leisure and hospitality business. And the fact of the matter is, had I decided to stay in that role and do a good job, I could have worked in my way into management, folks. This is the truth. Why would you go spend 4 years, listen to me, folks, 4 years. And let's just say the tuition is, this is just based on averages. Let's say the tuition is $20,000, $25,000 a year at a state school. A fancy school, you're going to pay even more. Why would you rack that up in student loans? Or why would you pay that out in cash? The ROI, folks, is ridiculous. Now, some of you are going, Ken, you're always getting on college education. No, I'm giving you an ROI exercise. Okay, so let's just say modestly we spend $85,000, $90,000 over 4 years, and you come out making in leisure and hospitality $38,000. What kind of moron goes for that? Now, everybody relax. I'm not calling you parents and kids morons. I'm saying you've been sold a bill of goods, and if you were out trying to sell that narrative to somebody, they look at you and go, you're an idiot. I'm going to pay $90,000 to make $38,000? Oh, by the way, if you don't like that proposal, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona. All right, let's keep going. Performing arts, $39,000. Again, why would you go get a degree in performing arts? Why? Why would you do that? You know what I'd do? I'd work my butt off for 2 years, studying under people, training locally, save up enough money to go to a major city or a city that's got a legitimate business and program and go work your way up. That's what I would do. And if that doesn't work, you know what I'd do? I'd move to New York City and work 5 jobs, and I would mop the stage for a Broadway production for the sole purpose of running into all the directors and actors, everybody. That's what I would do. I wrote a book called The Proximity Principle. It works. You're crazy, Ken. That's crazy. No, it's not. This happens in Hollywood every day. Happens in Nashville every day. People move here, waiting tables for the whole chance to run into somebody. All right, let's roll through this here. Early childhood education, $40,000. Elementary education, $40,000. Special ed, $40,000. Those round out. So we've got a problem. Our American leadership in Congress and in the White House, they're all guilty because they're up there playing stupid political games with each other, lining their pockets, preserving their legacy, while we have teachers making, right out of school, $40,000, being burned out because they can't actually do the thing they've been trained to do, which is teach and teach the way they're supposed to teach. Helicopter parents and tone-deaf bureaucrats are killing our education system. Parents are putting so much significance in the grade their kid makes as a reflection on them that they're harassing, and I mean harassing, teachers and principals. To the point that teachers and principals are mentally, emotionally exhausted. School boards are circuses. They're not supporting teachers and principals. And so teachers and principals cannot lead, cannot teach, and then they leave. It's a dumpster fire, folks. We need wholesale reform while I'm on this bully pulpit so that teachers can teach the right way and prepare kids for a future, not prepare them to pass a standardized test that helps a politician get reelected. Oh boy, I'm on to something.
Are you wondering if you should leave your current job or stay put? You're not alone. That's why we created the Should I Quit My Job quiz. In just 5 minutes or less, this quiz will help you determine if you're at the right company and if you're in the right role. If you need to make a move, you'll even get practical next steps to keep you moving forward. Listen, stuck is a choice, and life is too short not to do what you were created to do. To take the quiz, go to kencoleman.com/quiz.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. So we've got, I really believe this, we've got a unprecedented level of tension in the American workplace right now. And it's been building slowly. And let's be clear, there have always been circumstances and bad leaders, bad employees that create expectations, that create wrong perceptions. In other words, circumstances could be, companies abusing the workforce, and thus unions were created. Then unions become political. Then you got, just on a personal level, you have a bad experience in one season of your life. And so it colors, naturally, how you feel about a leader. If you had one bad boss, the very first job you have, and they treat you like crap in a bad culture, can I just tell you, it's pretty normal for somebody, and that's their first work experience, to go, is this what it's like? And so for the rest of your career, you're kind of just like a dog that's been hit too many times, and they get around their owner and they're just kind of waiting to get whacked. I mean, that's the normal response. And now you take the pandemic, which took an already growing trend of remote work and forced it on everybody for a season. Then an already growing trend of hybrid work became an option. And now the battle lines are getting closer and closer as more companies now have the courage to say, no, we want you back in. Young people disenfranchised because all they've ever heard about work, all they've ever seen about work, is griping and complaining from their parents or grandparents or their older brothers and sisters. And you take that group, and now they're on TikTok, and they're on Reddit, and they start reading things like the anti-work movement that says, why should you have to work all these years of your life, all these hours, deal with bad bosses, deal with toxic coworkers, struggle to get promoted. You're competing against other people. You got to fight. You're going to get laid off. You're going to get fired. You're going to get mistreated. Why in the world should I have to sign up for that? I'm a human. It's ridiculous what I have to do to live. Like that long-haired kid that's on this TikTok that's gone nuts. I can't even show it on the show because it takes the team 2 hours to edit out all the cussing. The kid's just literally looking at the camera going, bleep this and bleeping this, and I can't bleep in this, and in this bleeping country, I got to work so bleeping hard, and I do this, and it's just like, and I'm just watching this kid going, did you grow up in a bubble? And I literally mean a bubble. You know what I'm talking about? When you go to these sporting events, or you watch a sporting event, the halftime show, as they put 4 human beings in one of these giant bubbles where they run like rats in a maze, and they power the bubble, and they just bump into each other, and it's hilarious. It really is quite funny. The crowd's just loving it, right? Because they can't hurt each other. They can't even get hurt. Now, they may throw up from being dizzy, but they can't get hurt. They're just bouncing into each other and running around, and it's just this big, fun adventure where nobody gets hurt. That's what a lot of people want. So this is the backdrop. This is the context for where we've got this truly historical level of tension between leadership or managers or big companies and then workers. The man, to use an old analogy, versus the worker. And it is setting us up like this country has never been set up before to fall prey to socialistic philosophies, which is that we remove individualism and it's now about the collective. The sneaky word in communism is commune, the root word of community. We should all just be in the same pot and take care of it. How does that work out? Do your own historical research. Seriously, I'm not here to make any comments beyond that, because I actually think those of you who can go do the research and study long-term prospects for the individual who is supposedly helped by socialism and communism, just go do your own research. And how does that turn out? For all of the ills in our society, I can tell you that capitalism, freedom, is not the culprit. It's the people who abuse capitalism, people who abuse freedom. Well, there's the setup for this hilarious sign. This is going around the world a little bit, but before we show it, the reason I gave all of that context is because when you see bad behavior in a place, or you see poor leadership, or you see this kind of glib stuff I'm about to show you, remind yourself that you don't work for them. I want that to sink in for a moment. You work for yourself. Because there's bad attitudes on both sides, the worker and the employer. Let's show this picture. This is Santino's Pizzeria in Columbus, Ohio. And you can see their sign says, now hiring non-stupid people. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I'm driving by and I see that sign, I'm going to chuckle. I'm going to grin. I get it. Now, the ownership did not comment when the local TV station reached out. But obviously it drew a lot of attention. So I wish I could tell you why they did this. And a lot of other companies are doing it. There's an actual Tampa printing store that offers this between $27 and $165, depending on the size of the thing. Now hiring non-stupid people. So I wish I could tell you why the owner thought this would be a good thing to do. I think it's funny, but I also think it's sad. And it can be both, and here's why. Well, who is this supposed to attract? I have consulted for a lot of business owners who are struggling with hiring people and retaining people, because I talk to you all, so I do a lot of this. And one of the things that I do when I consult with leadership and companies on hiring and retaining people is I help them understand that there's got to be a narrative to attract the right people. If you tell a story in your hiring, you will attract the right people. Well, I don't know, now hiring non-stupid people, I'm not sure who that attracts. All right? But let me tell you what it reflects. It reflects people, leaders, small business owners, particularly the people running Santino's Pizzeria here in Columbus, Ohio. They're fed up with hiring people who have unrealistic expectations, who don't want to actually work. And so they're kind of going, you know what? I'm having a hard time getting good people. So I'm just going to put this out there and go, if you're a non-stupid person, we'd like to interview you. I get the frustration, but this is also part of the problem. There's a better way to attract good kids and good people who will sling a pizza for a paycheck. Come on, we can all do a little bit better.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. It is time to coach some people up. Let's go to Tara in St. George, Utah. Tara, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream. What are you doing?
Oh, just hanging out. My question for you today is, how do I know if I'm making the right choice when it comes to continuing or quitting my business? And how do I allow myself to go forward with that decision?
Well, why? Now, let me re-ask that.
Mm-hmm.
What is causing
Sure.
you to consider shutting the business down?
Mostly it is my family and time that it's taking away from it.
Okay, yeah, you miss your family, and
Yeah.
that's causing emotional and mental stress.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, what is the business?
So the business is a photography business that I've been doing for about 3 years now. When I started it, it didn't seem to really affect. My kids were younger, so I felt like I could juggle things a little bit better.
Yeah.
And just as they've gotten older, and they're in different schools now, and
Okay, got it.
there's just a lot going on.
I get it. Okay, let me ask a silly question, but I want you to answer it seriously, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
If I removed the reason or reasons that are making you consider shutting this thing down, would you be considering shutting it down? In other words, if you had more time, you weren't having to do everything that you're having to do, and thus you had more time to focus on the parts of the business that you really enjoy, and also more time to be present with all the family activities, would you be considering quitting?
I don't think so. I really like what I do.
That's what I thought. So what makes you say, I don't think so? I'm dead serious. Because here's why I'm establishing this. I don't think we can make a clear decision on shutting this thing down until you look at ways to solve the sources of stress. Because if we can solve those, then we have the best of both worlds. You cannot truly have a balanced life. This idea of balance is a bunch of garbage. It's just garbage. I don't know any working parent in the world who's balanced. I'm not just talking about working moms. I'm talking about working dads. There's nothing balanced about it. I love what I do. Folks, I spend 8 to 9 hours a day at this office. The only thing I spend 8 to 9 hours doing at my house is sleeping. Can we just be honest? So what's balanced about that? It's not balanced. All right, enough preaching. What are the parts of the business that you are doing that someone else could honestly do?
Probably editing. The problem with that is paying someone else to do that.
We're not getting there all the way. What we're doing is identifying. We're not solving.
Okay.
Because this is what you've done. All right. So editing, what else? What else is that's very time consuming for you that someone else could do? Editing's one. What's another one? Come on, this isn't difficult. What else do you're the chief everything officer. What else could somebody else do, or an app or some automated service? What else could get off of your plate? Because the most important thing that you do is what?
be there for my kids, my family.
Oh, well, you got off track. The most important thing you do for your business is take pictures.
Yes.
In the moment.
Yeah, that's the soul.
The soul of this, and you are the person that does that. You are there on site with the client, capturing what the client wants to capture. That is the thing that only you should be doing.
Yes.
Okay? So all other parts of the business, how can I automate? How can I delegate? Now, I hear what you're saying. You're going, Ken, those things are going to cost me money. Yeah. But what if you signed up more clients and you actually had more time? See, the more photos you take, the more money you make. But if you're just taking photos and other people doing other things, we can grow this business. Here's my piece of homework. Go sit with a very successful photographer who's figured this out. They'll tell you what to do.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
All right, we talk a lot about dreams and realizing visions here on the show. And that's half the equation because you're going to have to fund it. And just as you have to see where you're headed professionally, you've got to see where you're headed financially to make all this come together. And so I'm a part of Ramsey Solutions. We have a world-class budgeting tool called Every Dollar. And it's going to keep you on track. Brand new feature in Every Dollar budgeting app will allow you to stay motivated and click those goals off. It's called the Financial Roadmap. And you can see your progress and see the next step to take. And that's powerful. So all you got to do is fill in your numbers, your age, income, current savings. You get an idea of when to expect you hit your next big milestone. And folks, this is important for those of you that got to pay off debt or save some money to actually be able to fund your future. And the reason that I find that most people don't pursue that dream is because it seems so unattainable, so untouchable, because it's so intimidating. And what makes it intimidating is you don't see a clear path forward. And Every Dollar is the clear path financially, which can help you professionally. Here's the best part. Premium users already have access to this great feature, and free users can test drive it with a 14-day free trial. So go to everydollar.com/updates. That's everydollar.com/updates to learn more. Evan is on the line in Litchfield, Connecticut. Evan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello, Ken. And I can also second that Every Dollar is wonderful. My wife and I, we've actually used it after going through Financial Peace University. Love it. We've used it every month for the past 5 years. But yeah, I'll get to my question here.
Yeah, great. So that's awesome. Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, so I've actually been in a really strange situation. I was furloughed from work back in October, the beginning of October. And it's been a roller coaster after we had our baby. And I've basically applied to about 350 places. And
how many interviews have you gotten?
I've had about, let's say 40, 42 in there.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. And have you gotten past the first initial round in any of those 40?
Yeah. So I have on, I'd say about 10 of them, if I can go off my gut and that.
Okay. And are you getting any feedback at all that is actually usable as to why you didn't get the job?
Yeah, so I do inquire about that, and it's to me it feels like it's just the generic.
That's not helpful. That's my whole point. When people just give you this whole, whatever, you don't get anything really tactical out of it. Okay, what else do I need to know? Because I think I know what the problem is, but I want to make sure I know everything that you think or feel, and we'll try to dig into it and see if there's some truth based on what I'm telling you I think you need to do and why you're not getting hired. I think it's pretty simple. Is there anything else I need to know?
I mean, I feel like I'm looking high and low, and
Let me ask you this. Are you applying for jobs that you're actually qualified for? Or is it a stretch?
It's definitely been a stretch because of the family I have with 3 kids.
All right.
Wife.
Now, there's our first clue.
Uh-huh.
You're applying for jobs that you admit are a stretch. So if you think they're a stretch, then it stands to reason that the people who are interviewing you think that you may not be qualified enough, may not have enough experience. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this is a recipe for massive discouragement, my man.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
the other thing, I'm wondering, are you reaching out and are relationships recommending you? I mean, real relationships, people that you either are really good friends with, or you are solid acquaintances with, or either of those two relationships, the solid acquaintance and a really good friend, they're recommending you to somebody. And so you're getting into the interview process with a really good head start. Are you doing that?
Definitely. My whole network and the close people as well. I've been recommended, and those.
So you're doing that part right. Okay, so you're using the proximity principle well.
Thank you.
Sounds like, but the problem is you're reaching too high. You're trying to get on the 3rd or 4th rung of the ladder, and nobody climbs a ladder that way. So you've got to set your sights a little bit more realistically is what it sounds like to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. This isn't a mystery, so you and I got to work together to identify what's really going on. It sounds like to me that's our problem.
Yeah.
All right.
That's 100% the problem.
All right, so where's the gap between what you were laid off or furloughed from to what you're searching for?
Well, it's pretty big in my opinion because I really like architecture since I was a kid. And I've been working in sales and project development at a pretty basic level.
So you got, okay, so let's go through the facts. Okay, great. So you got furloughed from a sales job?
Yeah.
And what were you making?
It was just shy of $75,000.
Okay, and you've been applying for what kind of jobs?
Same project management, sales, and like customer relationship type stuff. Yeah. Okay,
so I thought you said you'd been. So why'd you throw in architecture? Because I'm trying to figure out the gap here. So you threw out architecture. Where does that play in?
Well, the architecture's been interest, so more of what I find to be a passion.
But I mean, you're not applying for those kind of jobs because you don't have those qualifications.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so you're applying for similar jobs.
Yeah.
But they're higher up the ladder than you were on, correct?
Yeah.
Because we've established, you admitted that you're applying for things that maybe you don't have the qualifications or experience for. So because you want to make more money.
Yeah.
All right. So you just got it out of line. What you need to do is go get you another 75, maybe an 80. But you need to go get another job that you're actually qualified for and have experience for, and then get in there and bust your butt and work your way up. So the income is going to come through you promoting yourself, getting promoted because you're doing incredible work and earning promotions as opposed to getting hired for a promotion. Because my friend, what are you doing now for a living?
I've been fixing small things for people, and we've been doing DoorDash occasionally, which has helped. But
how much are you making?
Basically, been unemployment. To be honest, barely enough to get by.
Okay, so why wouldn't you go for a job in sales, customer service, and project management that gets you back to 75? Because we know we can live on that, and we get ourselves some momentum, man. But you're discouraged.
No, that's the thing that's been.
You're stressed.
I know what you mean. You're right, and I've been definitely battling that. But I actually, to be frank, I've been looking for jobs that were even a less income that I was making in.
Okay,
Those are the ones that I'm barely getting past.
But something's missing.
interview.
I don't understand. I don't understand what's missing, and I'll be honest with you. The only thing I can grab onto is your self-confidence. Is somehow coming across, or your presentation, you're just not competing well. You've got experience doing this. We're in an economy right now. I don't know what it's like in Litchfield, Connecticut, but a salesperson or somebody who could do customer service can fall over backwards into a job in Middle Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
There's something missing from this narrative. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Evan, it's time for you to get up and get some grit, because your little family's life depends on it, and you're in a dangerous place right now. If you keep trying to just keep your nose above water, you're going to drown and take everybody with you. Go get yourself a sales job.
Thank you, Ken.
Because, Evan, you can. But you better start acting like a guy who's got some experience, who's got some skill, and can take care of people, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to take care of the people that matter most to you. My friend, I wish I could give you a rah-rah speech, but the bottom line is, get some freaking grit and go do some hard things. Don't take no for an answer.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.